Hello, everybody. This is Peter the Book Lover, and this is Book Talk, where I talk about the last 3 books that I've read. Let's talk about some books. Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Book Lover, and I want to thank you for coming by. In these videos, I like to talk about the last 3 books that I've read. I've been doing a BookTube channel for a while, and I don't know, maybe I might find another way to do this, but I've been trying to find a way to where I could comfortably talk about books, and I was trying different things. Like I tried to do a monthly wrap-up, but that actually becomes a very long video. So I decided to do it 3 books at a time. I also talk about movies 3 at a time. So maybe you enjoy this. I don't know. Let's see how it works out. Let's see if I enjoy doing it this way. I really do enjoy doing it this way when it comes to movies. It's great to talk about 3 movies at a time. So let's talk about it. Okay, before I get into the books, I want to thank everybody for coming by. You're wonderful for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. If you're new here, welcome. I welcome you. And if you've been here before and you're coming back, welcome back. I love to have you here. And let's just talk about these books. Now, all these books were written by Stephen King. I decided to do 3 Stephen King books in a row. And this is a pretty interesting experience. And I think it's pretty fun doing it this way. I'm probably going to continue doing it this way from now on. Okay, so let's talk about the first one. Number 1 is a book that was written in 1991. This is a story about a man that comes to town, Castle Rock to be exact. His name is Leland Gaunt, and he sells unique things. The things that he sells, you're going to love. You're going to really be satisfied with the things that he sells to an extreme point. But at the same time, they don't cost a lot of money, but they do come at a high cost. This is Needful Things by Stephen King. This was written in 1991. I started this on 7/23, and I finished this at 8/2. So that's about 9 days. 10 days. Took me 10 days to read this. This is a 700-page book, but I was into this book the whole time. This is a very interesting book, very enjoyable book, very interesting characters. This is actually connected with Cujo, and this also has characters from The Dark Half. And it's also connected with, if Cujo is also connected with the Dead Zone. So, and I kind of like that. I don't know if other people enjoy that about Stephen King books, but I really enjoy it when he connects these books. I love it when, like in the Dead Zone, they actually mention Carrie, the things that happened in Carrie, which is really cool. Now, this is very unique. There's a lot of characters in here, and they're very memorable characters, very relatable characters. Some of them are a little crazy, but yeah, some of these characters you can really relate to. Alan Pangborn is one of the main characters of this book, and he's a police officer that's very likable. I like the police officer. He does a little bit of magic. This is the first Stephen King book that I know of that this guy is really good at shadow puppets, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. Now, I've watched a lot of people talk about this book, and a lot of people say that this is their favorite Stephen King story. And in my opinion, this is not my favorite Stephen King story. I prefer Pet Sematary over this. I actually prefer The Dead Zone over this. I actually prefer Misery over this. There's a lot of other books that I enjoy, more than this, but this is definitely in my top 10. This is excellent. I really enjoyed it. I give it a thumbs up. And I got to say, I really enjoyed this. And this, I would recommend for you to read this because a lot of people actually really love this book. And you might love this book more than I do. Also in this book, there is kind of a creature in this book that was really cool, you know. And the ending is pretty, I kind of like the ending. It's kind of crazy the way this ends. The thing about it, though, this Leland Gaunt, the main character, the salesman that's selling all this stuff, he's it's kind of hard to explain him as a character of what his purpose is and how he came about. But yes, the ride you're on in this book was very enjoyable. I really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend this. So check it out, Needful Things. 700 pages, and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, the next book that I'm going to talk about, this took me 4 days to read. I finished Needful Things on 8/2, and I finished this 8/6. And this was written in 1989, and this actually has characters from Needful Things. This is The Dark Half. This is a story about a pseudonym, a pen name that actually becomes to life. And the person that, Thad Beaumont, that actually writes under this name, when he becomes George Stark, he becomes a little bit, that's his darker side, and he doesn't want to write any more George Stark books, so he decides to kill him, but then the character comes to life, and he's a very, very crazy character. He does some things that are like pretty crazy, and he's pretty badass, to tell you the truth. And I really enjoyed this. I read this a long time ago. I read this like in 1991 or something like that. I can't remember exactly when. And I don't remember finishing it, but I definitely remember part of this. As a matter of fact, when they mentioned Guns N' Roses, I've always been a big Guns N' Roses fan. So you mentioned Guns N' Roses to me, I'm gonna pay attention to that. And yeah, this is a very interesting story. Pretty wild. It's got a pretty good finale to it. Very crazy. It will remind you of an Alfred Hitchcock movie. The ending does remind me of Alfred Hitchcock a little bit. And I had a good time with this. This was a very good book. And it's a very unique premise. And I think he did a good job with it. And the way that it ended, it's a little weird, but at the same time, kind of cool the way that it ended. Although one thing this book that I think that would make this book a little bit better is if the pseudonym George Stark actually robbed a liquor store, and that would explain how he had the funds that he had. Because to do what he did, I think you'd need a little bit of money. But yeah, other than that, I think this was a very entertaining book. I would recommend it. I give it a thumbs up. This is pretty close to my top 10. This actually might make it to my top 10 because, yeah, I enjoy this quite a bit. The Dark Half by Stephen King. Okay, the third book that I read, this one took me a little bit longer. This took me 6 days. I finished this today, and today's August 12th. And this is Cell by Stephen King. And one thing about this book, I did not expect it to be the way that it is. This was dedicated to Richard Matheson and George Romero. Now, Richard Matheson wrote this story called I Am Legend. And George Romero is actually famous for his Night of the Living Dead movies and his zombie movies. And the reason why he would dedicate this book to them is that a big part of this movie will remind you of zombie movies. the way this movie starts, I mean, this book starts, is a lot like a zombie movie, a zombie story. And things are kind of like zombies in this when this first starts out. Later on, it changes. There's like a plot twist to where it goes in a different direction, but at the same time, it's still engrossing. The characters are not bad. I mean, they're not really good characters, but not bad characters, and I relate to them. And you kind of care about the characters. When bad things happen to them, you feel kind of bad. So I kind of dig this, yes. And yeah, this is a apocalyptic type of novel, and it was pretty fun. Now, I don't recommend this highly, but like I said, if you get a chance to read this, it's not bad at all. It's actually a pretty entertaining Stephen King story with that's a unique premise. You know, it's kind of funny because everybody owns a cell phone, and this is kind of talks about some people don't have cell phones and other people do have cell phones. Pretty interesting book. I gotta say that I would kind of recommend it. Cell by Stephen King. This one was from 2006. Okay, that's it for this episode. I hope that you enjoy this little conversation we had about books. I want to thank you for stopping by. It's great to have people to talk to for these books that I've been reading. I really appreciate you being here, and hopefully that I can entertain you and maybe guide you to some of the books that I enjoy as well. This is my new format. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. I keep on trying new things to see what I really enjoy doing it. I kind of like doing it this way because there's not a lot of stress making these videos. And if you can, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button so I could have more subscribers. That's always really helpful when you have a YouTube channel. Subscribers are great. Please leave comments and let me know what you think. And I want to thank you for stopping by. You guys are awesome for being here, and I will see you in the next episode. See ya.